Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Baron and this is your Brain on Books. And today I get to do my favorite kind of video, and that is a book haul. I got a pretty big stack next to me and it's kind of falling over, so I'm just going to get right into it. If you've watched my book hauls before, I try to save the best for last, at least what I consider to be the best. So let's just get started. First off, I got some trade paperbacks, so we'll do those first. And starting with The Troop by Nick Cutter. Now, this has made big waves in the horror community as being something that is actually scary, actually terrifying. And I've heard it described as kind of like this mashup between Lord of the Flies and The Stand. I don't know all the details, but I know it surrounds like a Boy Scout troop that goes camping or something, and there's like some disease that spreads amongst them, and chaos ensues. So sounds pretty darn interesting, if I must say. Now, this, and along with some other horror novels you see in here, I kind of bought early in November, right when we were leaving the whole Halloween season, and I was kind of just still in that spooky vibe. So I don't know how soon I'm going to get to a terrifying horror novel, but when I'm ready for it, I have a good option. So moving on from there, in a series, I got The Dreamblood Duology by N.K. Jemisin. Now, a recent video I did on series that I want to read, or high priority series, and this was pretty high up on the list. So I plan on getting to this one pretty quickly, early in 2022. And I gotta say, these covers are super cool. They are awesome. And, I like how Orbit does these books, especially, this and the Broken Earth trilogy, where they're kind of like this matte finish. Very well made by them. So excited to get to those. And moving on, another horror novel, and that is Ghost Story by Peter Straub. Now, I haven't read any Peter Straub before. Even as a Stephen King fan, I've yet to read The Talisman or Black House. They're on the list, but haven't got to them yet. But I know for Straub, this is kind of considered his best work, and it's a real horror classic. So I've been wanting to get to it for quite a while. I hope I like it. The first edition hardcover of this looks amazing. It's like this kind of all gray scheme with this big striking bumblebee on the front. I'd love to pick one up, but they're really expensive. So I figured I'd start just with the paperback and see how I like it and go from there. So the last paperback I have on the list is Lost Gods by Brahm, another author that I've been wanting to get to for quite a while. I originally thought I'd start with The Child Thief because I know that's, well loved. It's talked about on BookTube a lot. And I like Peter Pan. I'm a big fan of Peter Pan, so a dark retelling of it sounded awesome to me. But when I heard the synopsis for this, and it's kind of about a descent into purgatory, that sounds interesting, right up my alley. So this is another one I'm going to get to pretty soon. And I found this at a used bookshop, and I've yet to see any Brahm at a used bookstore, and I go to them pretty frequently. So I was happy to find this. One complaint I will say with his books is they're weird sizes. None of these are conventional dimensions for pretty much any books, really. And even his paperbacks, because he kind of has a reputation to be an artist first and a novelist second, they have all these illustrations and stuff from his work in there. A lot of it's really, really creepy and really cool. Let's see what else I have. Yeah, look at this. Some wacky stuff. So how it ties into the story, I have no idea, but I'm eager to find out. All right, so now let's get into some of the hardcover pickups I found. The first being Pillars of the Earth by Ken Follett. Now, this is a first printing hardcover, which was surprisingly inexpensive. I think I paid $10 for this one. Obviously, this book's been out a long time. It has a glowing reputation as being like amazing historical fiction. But really what pushed me over the edge is I saw a review from Brian Lee Durfee, and he totally sold me on this. So I'm going to do a buddy read with my dad on this one. He loves historical fiction, so I think this will be kind of a good pick for both of us. So that's going to happen pretty soon. But this is a huge book, and they packed this thing so tight. I think it's over 1,000 pages or darn near close to it. Yeah, but I don't know. Sometimes the way they make these, it's like really heavy for how big it is. So that should be good. And moving on from there, I have Red Dragon by Thomas Harris. I've been slowly getting the Hannibal Lecter books together. I love the movies, so really eager to actually read the stories. And there's some debate on whether you should start with Red Dragon or Silence of the Lambs. I don't know what's the correct choice, but this one's pretty short. It's just shy of 400 pages, which, makes an attractive starting point for me. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a try. Now, this is the second iteration of the hardcover. The original one is a little pricey. And then you have basically every specialty publisher out there that does horror and thrillers has some version of Red Dragon. So we'll see how it goes. I found this for like a couple dollars. So if I like it, maybe I'll get one of those nicer ones, but that'll definitely do for now. And then on from there, I have Boy's Life by Robert McCammon. This is another first printing hardcover. I've been wanting to read McCammon for a while, and I actually have a buddy read on my Discord for this starting in February. If you're interested, I'll leave the link below. I don't know how many people we have so far. It's a handful, but it's going to be good. I didn't know if I should start with Swan Song or Boy's Life, but I love supernatural coming-of-age stories. I like Something Wicked This Way Comes and It. So once I knew that's kind of what this is about, it was a no-brainer for me to give this a try. So next up, I have The Grace of Kings by Ken Liu. Found this in the used bookshop for pretty cheap. Something's been on my radar for a little while. And I haven't heard it talked about much, but it seems to be getting this, ton of just attention on BookTube recently, which kind of has me even more excited. I originally thought that this was a really long book just based on the size of it, but they're just thick pages. I think it's only 500 something pages. So kind of surprising. It looks chunky. It looks like a Stormlight Archive book, the way that they built this thing. Pretty striking cover. I like the minimalist design overall. And we'll see when I get to that. And next up I have Exhalation by Ted Chiang. I assume that's how you pronounce it. If I'm wrong, correct me down below. I'd like to know. I haven't read any of his stuff. I know he has 2 kind of novella short story collections, which have a pretty, glowing reputation, like some of the other ones I mentioned before. But I actually never saw the movie Arrival, and I just watched it recently, like 4 years after it came out. Just, after seeing Dune, I'm just going through all the other Denis Villeneuve movies. And once I found out that that was based on one of his novellas, I was like, okay, I gotta actually give this a try. So I literally finished the movie, and I bought this book within like 15 minutes after I ordered it. Okay. Next up, this is kind of a random one, is The Illustrated World of Tolkien. Now, I don't really buy art books. This was at Costco for $12, and my wife pointed out to me, and I am amazed at how inexpensive this is. The actual quality of this book is insane. It's all this like cloth bound kind of cover. It's so striking, and just the illustrations are really, really nice. I don't know, I just opened a random page, but there's so many in here that I actually just sat down with my daughter and we kind of went through some of these, and she thought it was really cool. I don't know how soon I'll actually read all the details behind it, but the artwork is just amazing. So for the price and the quality of this was a no-brainer add to the collection. So happy to add that to my Tolkien shelf. And I have 2 more here, both Stephen King. Now, the first one is Night Shift. Now, I don't remember the artist that did this series of these Doubleday reissues, and I really should have checked before I filmed this. But anyway, I really like the kind of cohesive look. There's about 6 titles that are in this format, and I intend to also pick up Pet Sematary. I'm a little weird with my Stephen King books to where I try to make them all be black, because some of his older books kind of have wacky cover designs. At least they just look dated. Especially Night Shift, the original kind of almost off-white color with the weird writing on it. I don't know if you've seen it before, but it's not a good looking cover. So I was happy to get this. Like I said, I'm going to get Pet Sematary kind of in the same format. And the other ones they have, the Stand, Carrie, Salem's Lot, I already have those. So no need to pick that up. And speaking of The Stand, in my opinion, the coolest book I found last month is the original 1970s version of The Stand hardcover. Now, this is a book club edition. I was not lucky enough to find the original trade hardcover by Doubleday. I mean, those go between $400 or $500. I don't think I'll ever own one. I didn't even think I would own one of the book club editions. These are still very rare and expensive. And I found this in a used bookstore for $20. And oh my goodness, I have never pulled a book off a shelf faster in a used bookshop than I found this. And it's, you know, it's got a little bit of damage to it. It's not perfect, but, you know, I put it in Mylar, and, you know, given how old this is, and it looks like it was definitely read, it's still in pretty good shape. I haven't read the original version of The Stand. For those of you who aren't familiar with it, this original edition was like 800 pages, and the, you know, the uncut, revised, expanded, whatever edition came out in 1990. They added about 400 pages, and that's, if you go into, you know, Barnes & Noble or something, you buy a version of The Stand, that's the version you're buying, not this one. So it'd be interesting to kind of compare them. You know, I've obviously read the other one and know it kind of inside and out. So at some point when I'm ready for a reread, this is the one I'm going to go to. So anyway, that's what I managed to get in November. So if you've read any of these, you have any comments, let me know. I'd be happy to know. Are these good books? Are they bad books? Just drop it down below. Until next time, see ya.